Why hello, it is I, Jono, and it is time for another splendiferous work in progress video on my video game that I'm actually developing. And God, so much stuff has actually happened since the last video. I wanted to make more videos until now, but I've been so busy trying to do all sorts of stuff, weapons system stuff, lots of audio stuff, environment design stuff. Like, basically, I'm not going to show all of this stuff in one video because it would be hours long, but there's a term in game development called feature creep. Like, I'm laughing about it because basically what it means is that features creep in, and like this idea, oh, that's a good idea, let's get this idea in there. And that happened yesterday. And I've been umming and ahhing about this. I've been wondering whether I wanted to put this in my game, and now I have. I'm really glad I have. So this video is going to show a couple of things. Firstly, Footsteps and the Footstep audio system. I'm just going to show it working and stuff because there's no way I can walk around without footsteps being heard. So I'm going to talk about that. And I'm also going to talk about, we've now got ladder interactions, so the player can actually traverse the world vertically, which I'm really excited about. It sounds so trivial, but ladders are a big thing. It's like doors. I'll do a video on doors at some point. But so we've got ladders, and then, well, actually, let's show ladders and footsteps first, and then I have a treat to show at the end of this video of what's going to now take the gameplay to a new level, literally. Okay, so where's my mouse? Now, I'm not going to show this whole area because it's actually part of the game, and I don't want to give everything away. But as you can see, we're in an area right now, metal. I've started shading everything with snow as well, so show on the snow on the banister and stuff like this. My computer is just really, really pathetically old and can't keep up with a lot of stuff, but I've got 30 frames a second running at the minute. I need a new computer. It's as simple as that. Anyway, right. Footsteps. These sounds are just placeholder at the minute. They're metal sounds. This is a metal floor. Okay, so you can hear them actually working. But I'm going to go out into the world in a minute and talk about footsteps much more in depth. So the first thing I want to talk about are ladders. I think it's probably going to be agreed upon here that ladders in most first-person games are really, really dog shit, or dog's brown. Pardon my language. They just don't feel connected, and I hate that. So I've chosen for this game to have interactive ladders, not contact ladders. Basically, contact ladders are ladders that you instantly, as soon as your player walks into them, you just connect and go up them and down them, and you have your weapon, and it's really unrealistic. Really fast-paced shooters like Doom. Doom's a classic for that. I don't want that. So basically, here's a ladder. First thing that's going to happen, like everything in this game, is that when you go up close, you actually will have highlights on certain things. So this will tell you it's a ladder, and press use to climb. So let's just demonstrate this. If I press use, the player will automatically latch on like that, and then I can just walk up it, and then I go straight over the top, and my weapon comes out at the top. So if I go up to the ladder again and press use, I go on the ladder, and then I can change the speed. I've got it quite slow there at the moment. If I have a weapon in hand, then when I go up to the weapon, oh, I just turned this off, what an idiot. Weapons, I have object avoidance as well, but I was just playing around with it and turned it off. So I'll show you that in a weapons video because that's going to be quite deep. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. Anyway, if you've got a weapon out, normally, if you don't press anything, the weapon will pull back, because I hate that. I hate weapons clipping in walls and anything. But for now, you're just going to have to pretend it does. When I go up to the ladder and I'm holding a weapon, I press use. I instantly will hide it, and now I can go up the ladder, and I go straight over the top, and the action is so fluid. I'm so stoked about how slick this is. Weapon straight out, weapon up. Oh, hold on, I pressed the wrong button. And you can hear footsteps. That's because I've got a surface system on everything, And I'm using currently, just for demoing, the same metal sounds as I am for this metal floor, but these are going to be different sounds, and I'm going to instigate hand movement and cloth movement with the player as well. But yeah, anyway, there's the ladder. Here's a little sneak peek of some platforming that's going to happen. And if you fall, obviously you're going to die, so height is a variable. And obviously this area isn't finished and dressed or anything like that. I'm still designing the level and the gameplay and all this kind of stuff, but it just takes so long when you're by yourself and doing every aspect of this. Okay, so if I press use, we're going to go down here. This would be a story moment, to be honest with you. But anyway, we're down here, and now you can hear footsteps. We've got snow working, okay? These samples are 3D positioned as well, so at the minute they're just dead central. I'm going to have them pan a little bit soon. So now I've shown ladders, which is, oh God, I'm so excited about the fact ladders actually work and stuff now. But let's talk about footsteps for a minute, because footsteps are arguably one of the most important aspects of immersion for a game. And I need to say this now, I need to say thanks to somebody that he wants to remain nameless for his identity, but he's basically a true, utter wizard with coding. He's basically been giving me a hand tying in audio implementation between Wwise, which is the audio software that is pro-end software that all pros use. I use Fmod as well, but I'm using Wwise, and he's helping me hook in various aspects of my character controller and Wise. And I'm going to do a video on this properly, like much more in depth of how this actually works and how surfaces work and all this stuff. These videos are much more work in progress of the video game. But now I've said thanks and everything like that, part of the thing about games and immersion, in my opinion, is having different surfaces react to all sorts of stuff. In this case, footsteps. So when you walk over things, walk on different materials, textures, all this stuff, it changes, and that triggers sound in Wwise. So obviously the first thing we have here is snow, and you can hear snow triggering. It's a powdery snow to match my texture that I want. Okay, something that this texture system actually does is it doesn't just do surfaces, it actually does terrain layers as well, which for me is a massive thing. So I'm going to demonstrate this in a second. Basically, with I haven't actually set this up for footsteps yet, but when you walk over things, it will change sound. I can demonstrate this quickly with looks. We have surface impacts as well for projectile weapons. I'll talk about that in a minute, but let's have a little wander around. I'm hitting about 30 frames a second at the minute, which is much better than I was. I'm just deactivating stuff. Basically, I need a new computer. I've optimized loads of this, and it went from about 9 frames a second to 30. That just popped out as well, so I've got to fix that. Okay, so here we are in Bareback Mountain. Now let's talk about the footsteps. Obviously, this snow here is a terrain layer, okay, and it's my main snow powder terrain layer. What I really want to do is have snow sounds for the snow, and when I go through grass, I want a different sound, and I want the sound of the snow, and I want the sound of grass, and that's exactly what this footstep system can do now, because I can use terrain layers. What I've essentially done, let me just demonstrate this. I'm going to walk on the snow, and then I'm going to walk through this grass, and the grass sound design is only placeholder. I quickly did it. I combined some snow and grass together just for an example, but here we go. You hear that? Snow and grass, and because I've got grass interaction now, it all reacts to the player as well. So we have snow and grass plus the grass interaction. And obviously the grass interaction is kind of slow. I kind of like it because it's kind of fun, but I could speed it up. So I'm totally stoked about this because it just adds total immersion. So you change, and the player has no idea, well, you do now, but underneath this snow is a different texture. So what I've done here is I've actually duplicated this texture so it looks identical in every way, but it has a different ID number and name. And then I've painted that texture. I was going to use my hand. I used the pistol reticle. I've painted this separate ID texture underneath where the grass is. So it fools the eye. You think it's still the same snow texture, but what it's doing is triggering a different set of sounds in Wise, which I think is rather splendiferous. Okay, so here is a rock, obviously.
Concrete.
Now, I've assigned a concrete sound to it. It's not going to be concrete, it's going to be stone and other things, but I've just got some concrete samples loaded into my banks because I've been messing around with concrete. So when I jump up on here, you hear the footsteps? They have now changed. So that will reflect whatever I actually walk on. This goes for everything: logs, twigs, leaves, water, any surface type and any terrain layer. We've got to go deep with this. Okay. All these surfaces and terrain layers also work with projectile impacts from the weapons and melee impacts from melee weapons, but I don't really want to cover that right this second because that's another massive thing. So what I am now going to show, this I was mentioning about feature creeping. It's like I said, I was hesitant in doing this because it's just another mountain of work, but I just feel I want to make a first-person game that the player not only wants to explore in. Let me turn away from that for a minute. So that's it needs to be explained. I want the player to not only want to explore and obviously fulfill all the mission objectives and do all that kind of stuff, but I want the player to actually feel like they're connected to the player rather than all these horrible first-person games where it doesn't feel fluid, it doesn't feel natural, it just feels horrible. And you know, first example is melee combat, which I'm going to try and nail with an axe, and I largely think a lot of that's down to sound design. So the feature creep that's now added. We've had ladder interaction, so we've got vertical traversal. Now we've got mantling and ledge climbing. So here is my test mantling box. And courtesy of a friend of mine at Rash Tracks Audio, he decided to make some AI art of me in my studio.
Metal solid.
We'll talk about decals in another video. However, that's just to show decals work.
Metal solid.
Right, so we've got different step heights here. First thing I'm going to do is climb up all of them. If I wasn't mantling, basically normally what happens is that you just press jump, right? So I press jump and go forward, jump and forward, and then you miss and stuff. There's a good example of it missing and feeling like dog's brown. And there we are, we're up at the top. And you would do it a lot faster, but if I do it faster, it activates the mantling. So mantling, or ledge climbing, or whatever you want to call this, if I go up to it, press jump, and then jump again quickly, the weapon will hide because I'm going to mantle up, and then the weapon will show again. And there we are. So I'm going to do that now all the way up. Cool.
Snow.
Let's do that again, because this feels slick. Like this is starting to really feel good. I'm going to go all the way up the top, and then now as I walk down here, the character stays not locked on. You can jump off at any time, but it uses gravity with the physics engine to actually keep the player attached. So if you pay attention to the head bob, you feel how slick that is to go up and down here. believe I turned off weapon obstacles. Like, that's so stupid of me. Okay, let's just change a different weapon. So what this is going to enable is traversal or up the world, perhaps. Okay, so let's just say that you've got things of different heights. I'm going to just mantle over that. Let's change weapon. Instantly be able to hit. Okay, so I've done step 1. Very realistic, I think, for a normal person. We could all jump up that. Next one. I didn't press it twice then. That's what would normally happen if you don't have mantling on in your game, sorry. So I'm up. I'll explain the beats in a minute. Next one. And then this one, I actually can get up here because I lowered it in the ground, but usually you wouldn't. But for this, it's probably be the maximum amount of height because that is quite a high jump, but maybe I might have lowered it. I've been doing some stuff. Okay, so this is a really good example, right? So we're at a ledge. It's too high to actually jump. Maybe I was up here when I did it. Yeah, okay, right, this is brilliant. It's too high to get up there. So, as part of a gameplay mechanic now, I'm on a rock. Let's jump and mantle up there. And there we are, we're now up on the elevated position. So, here we go, let's jump across and now jump to that next rock. And all of a sudden you can see how fluid this becomes. I don't know why you would jump up on these rocks, but it's just for an example, you know. You can hear the footsteps there as well. I put metal and snow on there. And to show that this melee is going to leave damage on walls, decals they're called.
Default.
That's just a bulk standard decal that appears.
Default.
Okay, so now I've shown that with the mantling, I'm going to just show it on a normal everyday like rock, you know. So here we are, and then basically, actually I don't know if I applied it to that. Maybe I didn't. No. Maybe I applied it to this one. I might have actually done it in game mode, which means it wouldn't have saved. That's a shame. I may not have saved it. I'm an idiot. Nope. There. Oh, I did. I did apply it. That's weird. Let's have a little look. There we go. So mantling will work just on everyday objects that I allocate. I'm not going to actually put this on every single thing in the world because all of a sudden the player is Spider-Man and you can climb over everything, and I don't want that. But where there will be, you as the player will instantly be able to go, or maybe not instantly, but you might actually go, I can go up that way or this way. And much like games like Tomb Raider do, where they have a ledge and they have a little indicator just sort of in the ice and stuff like that to actually let the player know. Something like that will happen. But yeah, so we can climb up on everyday objects like that, jump across, mantle over here, and all of a sudden we've got kind of some kind of Mirror's Edge game going on. But I am feeling pretty stoked with the work in progress so far. Oh God, there's so much other stuff that I could show, but I'm not going to bother showing it in this video. I think that covers quite enough. The Footstep system is fully working. You can walk over different surfaces, different terrain layers. We've got full-on ladder interaction, and we now can mantle, climb ledges, which means the player can explore in all sorts of fresh ways instead of just walking around.
Default.
Anyway, right, I think that's enough for this one video. If you like the video, hit like and subscribe to follow more of this journey into the indie game unknown. Basically, I'm just going to keep working on it like I am, and hopefully I'll put another video out very soon, as I'm tackling a lot of the sound design stuff now. For example, when I swing that, you're hearing a beep. That is saying the audio events are actually playing and firing and stuff. So all of this stuff is underway. It's just a biblical undertaking. So yeah, on to the next video.